he had a purpose in all of this that was, hard to discern in the beginning, but became more clear as time went on. So thanks be to God. I didn't really don't have a speech prepared other than to tell you thanks to each and every one of you for all the work that you've done. Perhaps on behalf of me, I know many of you have, on behalf of other candidates. Your work matters. Your work matters. And let me tell you, I talk to people sometimes downtown, I call them, and they are very interested in what Grassroots does. And whether they like what you do all the time or not, your work is respected and paid attention to by people in positions of authority in this community and around the state. And so you're to be commended for that. You set an example for other people to follow. A word about Representative Berman. We had a nice conversation on election night. He was very gracious, and I do have respect for him. I know a lot of people still have a great deal of respect for him, and I know he's going to stay engaged in the community in one way or the other. And we wish him the best. We do pray for him at my house and his health. It was good to see him smiling, and he gave me fits all the way through the end. That man is a fighter and still a soldier to this day. And the outcome is what it is, but God's got his life in his hands as mine, and that's what matters. Going forward, some of the lessons I've learned personally are that we kind of have to keep a short account on what happens in politics. If you go around keeping score, especially among friends, it's gonna hurt the cause. It's gonna hurt what we do. The first fruit of the Spirit is love, and sometimes it's hardest to love people that are close to us, because we expect certain things of them, and it's tough when they disappoint us. Politics is made up of people, imperfect people, and therefore we have an imperfect process. I'm not perfect. I'm going to disappoint you. I probably already have at some point. We're all going to disappoint each other at some point. But the thing to do, the thing to remember, is to keep our eyes on the prize, keep our eyes on the goals of liberty, goals of being a good steward of the freedoms God has given us. My Facebook post on Election Day was, we ought to call it Freedom Day instead of Election Day, because that's what we're out to do. We're out to preserve God-given freedom. Even before the Constitution was just an expression of what the founders recognized as a God-given right. It wasn't something defined by the Constitution. It wasn't something created by the Constitution. The Constitution recognized what already existed, given to us by God. And so that's our goal. And in that process, as you work for different candidates, as you work through these runoffs, and then as we move into the legislative session in January, let's just try to be gracious with one another and keep our eyes on the prize. I think that's the lesson I've learned, because sometimes when I would hear somebody said something, or somebody wrote something, or did something that just seemed counter to what I believed was right, you'd find yourself at home in your bedroom or your living room just kind of shadow boxing and getting all caught up in talk. And actions really are what we need to focus on. And words do matter, but we just also need to always try to season our political efforts with that grace and love that is what binds us together. That's the lesson I've learned. I've learned that you don't get anything done by yourself. I didn't get this done by myself. I've got a long, long list of people that helped in this effort, and it's just a privilege. The district This seat doesn't belong to me, doesn't belong to any one person. It belongs to the people, and the people decide, and that's what's important. So going into the legislative session, we're going to have a lot of challenges. You know, there'll be questions about leadership, there'll be questions about policy, there'll be questions that I have not even thought of. I can only imagine. I'm getting phone calls from people I've never heard of in my life already. And there's a tremendous amount of issues facing this state. I pledge to keep an open line of communication. I'll do my best to tell you what I know when I know it, so that you all can be informed. And I'm going to spend the next 6 months or so preparing to go down there, engage in the issues. I'm already opening lines of communication with other members of the House, and that's going to be important. We've got some changes in the East Texas delegation, as you know. Trent Ashby is new down in Lufkin. Wayne Christian was defeated. James White hung on. I'm new. Brian Hughes is around still. David Simpson is around. So we've got some veterans, but we've got some new people too. But I would just encourage you to keep it up. Keep the faith. My mom always says, "Do not be weary in well doing, for in due season you shall reap." So don't get weary. But if you get tired, just get a little rest and get at it again the next day. The U.S. Senate race is very important. I've worked for 2 U.S. senators in my time, and got to be close to them. In fact, I got a call Wednesday morning after the election from Senator John Cornyn, a very personal call, which has really meant a lot to me. And those guys are up there in a very difficult situation. You think we've got it tough down in Austin with 101 Republicans? Look what our senators are doing up in Washington. They've got a very, very strong challenge ahead of them. And so the U.S. Senate race, to me, is as important as any effort you engage in going forward. So roll up your sleeves and get back to work. Thank you to Joanne. Joanne, she's putting some miles on herself, and I think Joanne's kind of like my wife and I. My wife and I, we don't have any kids, but we tend to get into things that are a little difficult from time to time. But we've kind of determined that we're not going to go into the grave well preserved and well rested. We're gonna slide into the grave sideways, all used up and worn out. And I know some of you feel the same way. I think Joanne's kind of the same way too. But thank you all. My name is Matt, not anything in front of that. So I would prefer from now on people will call me Matt, and once I'm sworn in, if you'll continue to call me Matt, I would like that very much. I understand if you don't. Some of you are old school, but I just want to be one of you. And I want to be your voice down in Austin. And I just want to be the guy that shows up in a jeans and t-shirt to your meetings and you can talk to. So thank you all very much.